Welcome back, people. Well, there's no fishing today. It's boat maintenance for this next few days for me. So there's my boat. It's a Merryfisher 805. I've had it 4 years now, and like many, I've had 17-foot boats on trailers going up the range, up to like 635s off the toes I've had, and yeah, finally now settled on the Merryfisher. I've always liked the Merryfishers. I like going away in the boat, doing weekend trips away, sort of camping and like with the family. But also I like to do a bit of fishing with it as well. So boat maintenance. There's a lot more to do with boat maintenance with a boat that's non-trailerable. So the points you've got to think and consider are location of where you can keep your boat. Ideally like the mooring buoys, pontoons, marinas, that sort of thing. Marinas no doubt do cost a lot of money, and they are out of a lot of people's range. Mooring buoys are obviously a lot cheaper, and that's if the location is fit for the boat. And the thing with mooring buoys and these sort of boats is, ideally in the winter months you'd like to keep the humidifier on board to keep the dryness in them, because they do get that sort of dampy smell if you don't do that sort of thing. So I'm quite fortunate, I've got a pontoon which I own. It's a drying pontoon, so nowhere near the cost of what a marina is. So that's the things you've got to consider, is where you're going to moor it basically, and the costs involved in that. The other thing you've got to consider is maintenance. Maintenance is a lot more money on a bigger boat than a trailerable 17-foot, something like that. So the engine, this is 200 horsepower Volvo diesel in it. You know, to get an engineer out is going to cost you a fair bit of money, obviously, each year. If you decide to do your engine each year. I don't do my engine each year, I do my engine every 2 years. But I'm keeping an eye on it obviously throughout the season. I do the maintenance on my own engine, which I prefer. I know the pitfalls of the engine, what needs doing, what don't need doing, what's been done, what's not been done. Some people can do that, some people can't, but that's what I do that sort of thing. So the other things that you have to change on these every year is the anodes. So the anodes are a sacrificial metal basically, so you have a thing called electrolysis going around the boat, and maybe other boats are giving you electrolysis, where eats away at the metals. Excuse me. So like your prop and things like that. So the sacrificial anode takes away the electrolysis away from your good metal, if you like your props, your shafts and all that, the running gear basically, and you have to change those every year. But on this one I change it every year on all the anodes bar the prop anode. The prop anode, because of the turbulence of the prop, it only lasts about 6 months sort of thing. So I change that every 6 months, the prop anode on this. Weed fouling, I've got quite a bit of weed fouling, which I'll show you in a bit. So again, it's getting to this time of year, and now coming in April, coming in the sort of May time, the fouling starts to build up on the boat. So you have underneath, you have barnacles, on the sides you have weed sort of thing. That slows the boat down a lot. Also as well, it costs you more money in fuel, and also it's not good for the engine either if you've got loads of fouling, because you're making the engine work a lot harder. It's a bit like having a caravan on the back of your car going uphill in second gear from a start. It struggles, it will struggle, you know, from a rolling start sort of thing. So you must do that. Get rid of the weed, get rid of the barnacles. Better for your pocket, better for the boat and engine. Do that. Also as well on the boats as well is I like to keep it clean in regards to polished and waxed and all the rest of it. It helps with the gel coat longevity of it, or keeps it shine, makes it look nicer, and obviously for selling purpose later on and down the line when you decide to sell and you want to go bigger or smaller, whatever you decide, it's more desirable sort of thing, because there's too many boats out there that have not had nice treatment, and you just can't get the gel coat back again. That's why it's important you keep on top of your gel coat, keep it nice, keep it clean, keep it waxed, keep it protected to do that. So that's some of the other things I do on that. I'll show you the anodes later on when I do those as well. Obviously you've got the jet wash the boat as well. So that's some of the sort of maintenance you do, and this is general maintenance, ongoing maintenance with boats. As most people will probably know who own boats to know that, but people who haven't got boats, it's a constant maintenance. You constantly, there will be something you need to do, whether that may be renew your chain, renew your rope. For instance, at the moment, my anchor needs changing over, my chain anchor that is. That's getting a bit ropey in places, sort of thing, so I can change that over. And the transfers on the boat there, they've all started to wear away. I'm changing the blue to the green. Don't like the green, never have liked the green. So I've got myself a blue canopy as well. Blue fenders, so they're getting changed. I've also as well, I've put myself an LED light on top of the boat by the radar. When coming into like Portsmouth Harbour, lots of buoys and boats and all the rest of it, and when you're coming in the dark, no moonlight, it's very dark, and buoys that have not got boats in, you can't always see them too well, sort of thing. So sometimes you just need that powerful light shine on the front of the boat near the waterline, just to give you that help with direction, where to go, because you don't want to be picking up a chain in the mooring buoy. It just destroy your running gear basically. So that's some of the things you've got to think about when owning a bigger boat, and I hope that helps. And I'll show you where now I'm going to go and put the boat to jet wash and change the anodes. Okay, so what you're looking at there is the grid. So that's where I'll be putting the boat on. As you can see, they're raised above the ground, which is what you need, so you can get underneath the boat. On the two pilings, that's those pilings there. Oh, let's find them. There they are. There, the wooden pilings. That's where the boat's going to lean against, so don't fall over. I'll tie the boat up to those pilings and string out some longer lines as well to the pontoon, which is just which I'm standing on. Just to make sure that she leans against the poles, not go the opposite side of the poles, because that could be disastrous. So on the poles, there's heights like 1 to 7 foot, so it gives you an idea how high the tide is and when to go on it, sort of thing. So around about the high tide mark, I shall go up to the posts, set the boat up onto the poles. I've got markers on my boat where I need to put the boat in relation to the pole, so when it does go down the tide, I will be bang on excuse me, bang on where I need the boat to be, because on the Mary Fisher you don't want it too far forward, too far back, because otherwise you're putting too much strain on the skeg, sort of thing. So my boat's got basically a bit like an upside down dolphin fin, so I tend to like to put the boat dolphin fin, if you like, for one of the on top of one of the wooden blocks, sort of thing, so all the weight is distributed there and not on the metal skeg. So that's what I do. And there's several other drying grids around here for sort of bilge keel yachts and all the rest of it. And up in the clubhouse there, they've got a jet wash, which I use to jet the boat off, which is really handy and saves using my own jet wash. And it's a real powerful one as well, which makes all the difference. So there will be loads of barnacles on that boat. I know there will be. And sometimes you can, after a while of been using your boat, you start to feel the difference. If the fouling, you get to feel the throttle response, and you know when you're starting to have a bit of fouling because you're just not getting the throttle response that you used to. So they're things you can consider, but this is what I do for me. I'll come out once a year normally to do my full maintenance, so that's anti-foul as well, but because of the lockdown I come out late last year, and I didn't come out sorry, I was out pretty much last year till late, and so I thought, no, I'm not going to come out this year. I'm not going to spend all the expense of coming out of anti-fouling and all the rest of it, and you're talking in a region of around about £500 to £700 to come out and to do all that sort of thing. So potentially there's some money to be saved, and being a club member here, it cost me £5 to be on this grid for the tide. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do that for this time round, but next year should be coming out. I'll be anti-fouling properly, and again there'll be the anodes and all the rest of the maintenance sort of thing. So yeah, so I shall show you some buffing next. That's what I'm going to be doing now. I've washed the boat off. I'm waiting for it to dry, and once that's dried, then I'm going to start buffing the boat, and I'll show you what I use for buffing the boat and the tools I use and pastes and the like, and how I do it. It may help you, it may help others. You can do this on 17-foot boats and all sorts of boats. You've got to mind, but it's got to be GRP though, not paint. And yeah, so you people with smaller boats out there, you can make your boat look quite nice with a bit of buffing. It's absolutely unbelievable what happens, and to keep on top of it, you can make it look really great. Anyway, buffing next. Well, welcome back. So I just want to show you what I use for polishing my boat and the tools I use, sort of thing. So first off is the buffer. That's the one I use. So that's a Sealy lightweight buffer, 150mm buffer with a wool head on it. So it's around about £110, £120, somewhere around that. You can get cheaper buffers. They're not lightweight, but you can get them. They can be quite heavy on your arms as you're buffing after a period of time. But if you don't mind that, then that's fine. Go for those. They are a lot cheaper. They're only about sort of 50 quid, which is really acceptable. That is. The wool head. any good sort of car body shop, sort of GRP place, they will sell the screw-on wool heads for you. It's double-sided sort of thing. This one's getting a bit worn now. It's getting to life expired sort of thing. Won't be long and I'll have to change that. They're around about the sort of £35–40 mark, something like that sort of thing. But you must go wool. I'll recommend wool. You can get the ones that cover over and they're very thin, and foam ones, but for boats and that, I much prefer the wool. Downside to those, you do get quite a bit of wool dust everywhere sort of thing, so after you've done it you do have to give it a blow over or sweep up or something like that sort of thing. And make sure you got one that the trigger works up and down, and don't lock it off. Never lock this off like that so it's constantly on, because, and I have had it and I've done it, the wires come around, snag this, and it's whipped right around, it's just shot out my hand, and it really will break your wrists if you had that left on. It's really dangerous. Just don't do that. Just don't leave the constant button on. Just do it so it's trigger related. As soon as you let go, it stops. So that's the buffer. That's what I use, one of those. Now the compound paste. It all depends what you want to use for your compound paste, really. This is the one I use. So it's that stuff there. So it's 2000 grade sort of thing. So it's only for light polishing, 2000. You can get coarser ones that are 1000. So if you've got deep stains, deep in ground dirt in your boat, go for a 1000, and it whips it off a lot quicker. 2000 is really for just for real light work sort of thing, and this is what I use. Is light work on this boat, because I keep it up constantly. That's what it needs. It's a light bit of work to get rid of it sort of thing. So there are plenty of different makes of compounds. You choose the one if you prefer. I prefer this one because it's like a paste. Some ones you get like a liquid, but I prefer the sort of paste. A lot better with the wool as well sort of thing, and you don't need to use loads of it. So that's what I use for the compounding. The other thing I have is for light work and little niggly areas, which I'll show you a bit later on sort of thing, is I have one of those as well. So again, it's a Sealy, it's a polisher, it's only a small one sort of thing, so you can just get, and this one's only got a foam head on, which I use just for small areas. You just can't get a decent wool head, or I can't find one anyway. You do get wool bonnets, but they're not as robust as the one I've got on my bigger one sort of thing. So that's what I use. Just nice and lightweight, rechargeable, and really easy to handle and polish around. The bigger one in certain places you just can't get into, or you run the risk of snagging the wool brush and ripping the buffer out of your hands and creating mayhem basically, and endangering yourself. They are really vicious, or can be vicious sort of thing. So yeah, just be mindful of that as well. So let's talk about the wax. So once you've done the sort of buffing and you need to wax it afterwards, sort of thing. And it also gets rid of some of the residue of the buffing as well, buffing medium. So I'll just use a Simmons wax. This wax here has got a slight abrasion in it as well, but that works for me, this one. You can get all sorts of types of waxes again, liquid waxes, actual sort of I don't know what you would call it, or harder wax really, but it'd be like beeswax sort of stuff, that sort of stuff. I tend to use a liquid one. It works for me. As I said, any good car body shop or anything like that, marine shop, they do all sorts of waxes. You choose a wax that suits you really, basically. I have friends that do all this sort of stuff, and they got their own special brands they like to use, and won't tell you because we all want to have the shiniest boat. But hey, there's a bit of a laugh and a bit of a joke between all of us really. But yeah, so that's little bit about buffing really, is that. So let me show you now what you expect to see on a boat, and scuffs and dings and all the rest of it, and fender marks and all that sort of stuff that I generally polish out and get it all back to scratch. So let's go and do that right now. Right, so this is what I'm going to polish in this area here. You can see a couple of blue marks from the fenders, a bit of scuffing. So these are the sort of things that I'm going to get rid of and just polish out, basically, make it a bit tidier. So get a bit of your paste, just give it a gentle sort of dab in a few places here and there, so just like that, nothing too much. That's all you want. And then all you do is get your buffer, and it's got variable speed, the buffer as well, so you can adjust up and down as you need for doing the buffing sort of thing. So I'm going to do a slow buff. So that's one buff. I'm going to give it another one because we've got a few bit more stains, so I'm just going to give it a bit of a dab on the actual marks that I'm trying to get out. So there we go. Again, nothing too hard, don't have to really force it on there. You just need to hold it fairly lightly and put it on. That's one mark gone. 2 marks gone. 3 marks gone. 4 marks gone. So as you can see, all the marks are now gone. If you feel that, you'll feel it's really nice and smooth, but you'll get it even smoother with the wax now. So get your wax and a bit of stocking net, which I forgot to mention earlier on. So a bit of that, just a little bit like that of and just rub it in. Circular motions, if you like. And what that does is gets off all the residue from the buffing. And what it'll do, it'll dry off into like a small film. Well, once dry, you can then buff off. In the summer months, it obviously dries off a lot quicker than it does at the moment, sort of thing. So there we are, it's pretty much nearly done. I'm just going to let it dry off, and then I can buff off the dryness of the polish, and it'll be silky smooth after that. Well, the polish is now dry. You probably won't see it on the camera, but there's a bit of a buffy residue there sort of thing, which is just what I want. It means the polish is now dry. So all you get, cloth, just rub it like that, and that just takes all of the residue off and gives you the lovely wax protection on your gel coat. Absolutely lovely. And rub your hand across it and you can feel it, the noticeable difference between when you've waxed it and treated it and all the rest of it, buffed it, against gel coat that you haven't. A noticeable difference, you know, as you drag, you can feel the dragging of your fingers on the gel coat that's not been waxed against gel coat that has been waxed. It just slips straight off. And also as well, when you're going along in the water and that, you'll see, or it rains, you'll see the water bead off on the wax as well. It's really nice. So there we are, look at that, just what you need. So I hope you liked that, and hope you may get something from that, me showing you how to do a bit of buffing on the boat. So again, you can do all sorts of boats, GRP boats with all sorts of sizes. So if you've got small boats and you fancy to clean it up, making it look a bit prettier, then do that. Especially good for when you're going to sail the boat. It makes it very pleasing to the eye, still a nice polished boat, and it makes it obviously looked after. Now, a top tip for you, if you're a bit bloody nuts like me at times, is I had a few scratches and a few bits and pieces in rods that were looking a bit ugly. So I got my buffer and turned it upside down and run the wheel, and I actually got the buffer and buffed up my fishing rod where the scratches were, and it took out the scratches of the in the rod sort of thing. You got to be careful, you know, because it is running quite high speed sort of thing. But yeah, so if you're a bit nuts at times like me, do things like that. You want to sort your rod out because it's got scratches, run it under your buffer sort of thing, and tidy it up. It makes it look 100% better again, almost like new again. Unbelievable, it was unbelievable. So there we are, multi-purpose of a buffer and that. So next job for me to do is get it up on the grids and get it jet washed off and get all the algae off and barnacles, and that's where you see me next. Well, welcome back. So the boat is now on the grid, as you can see, and it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be on the fouling. There's a bit of fouling on the old side of the boat sort of thing, we call it a beard if you like, but underneath it's pretty clear really, not too many barnacles. But I'll give you a closer look, and the anodes ain't too bad either, well, on the prop one anyway at least, but the others I'm going to change. So if I bring you up a bit closer, so you can see a few barnacles along there, and just along the boat there's a few odd sods here. They're only small dinky ones, but again that will still slow your boat down, believe it or not. You know, it's still drag. So if I show you the anodes, so there's one that goes on the skeg. As you can see, it's worn away a little bit there, chunk taken out, and there's the shaft anode. Again, that's pretty heavily gone, that one actually. And if I show you the prop anode as well, give you some sort of idea what that looks like. But this was changed in November, so it's barely worn. That may be because I didn't use a boat down in lockdown and over the Christmas period, and it got changed in November, that one, because I said I changed it maybe 6 months on the prop anode, which is that there. But the others, like the shaft and the one on the skeg, that's changed every year sort of thing, so hence why they're a bit more worn sort of thing. So got no concern. That's nothing unusual where you see there. To give you some relation to what you would expect from a new one, so there's a new one, all nice and shiny and new. There's a new anode for the prop. So as you can see, there's not a lot of difference in wear, to be honest, at all on that. And if I show you the back anode of the boat that goes on the back of the boat, so this one is worn a lot more, as you can see, very pitted again, and that's what it should look like with a new one. So no real concerns, that they're doing their job, the anodes, which is exactly what I want them to do. If they were completely gone, then you've got a bonding problem probably somewhere, or someone else has got a bonding problem causing more electrolysis. So something to be aware of. Likewise, if they've not gone at all and they're almost like this still, again, there's another concern really, and you should check out your wiring and the bonding and all the rest of it for the boat. So you are expecting somewhere, and you should expect somewhere, and it's a good thing to have somewhere. So as you can see, plenty of weed on the back. I'll bring you around the side. There's some exhaust there for the engine, and there it is on the poles, buoyed off. And if I just bring you down on this side of the boat, so there's where it's laying on the chocks, if you can see. I've marked my boat out where I need to position the boat with the stickers. So yeah, I've measured a set distance from the post there, so I know that I will land perfectly where I want it to land, sort of thing. It's always a little bit of a worry when you do it every time, even though I've marked it out, because you don't want it to miss where you want it to land. And I've got the skeg on the Merryfish 805. Some come with them, and some come without them. I'm glad I've got it, because it definitely makes a difference in drying out and the like. So I shall be buffing the sides of the boat today as well, and I'm putting a new transfer on there as well. I've taken the old one off already. It was green, it's now going to blue. So yeah, if I bring you around to the front of the boat as well, let you see what the front of the boat looks like. So there it is, the front, lovely sunshine in the distance there. It's going to be a cracking day by the look of it, so which is nice. Now the tide's just gone out, so I've probably got about another sort of 5 to 6 hours before I can have to wrap up everything and start packing everything away, sort of thing. So the jobs to do, I say jet wash, anodes, and buff the sides and put the new sticker on the side of the boat. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll just do the anodes next. Right, okay, I'm going to show you how I change the anode on the shaft first. I think I'll do that one first, get it out of the way, and see what we need. Looks like I need a socket set as well, so I'll go and get that. Okay, so I'm going to get that off. Hopefully it's about a 10 mil, I believe, something like that. No, a bit bigger. Try that. There we are, perfect. So hopefully this is going to come off nice and easy. They generally do. So if I just spin the blade there, get a Phillips screwdriver as well. Yeah, they're flying off. So they generally do. I just got to crack them all. And we'll get them out. I'll put a bit of extension on the socket. Make my life a bit easier. Ooh. Right, let's get the never got the tools handy, have I? Never. Nightmare. That's one off. Let's get this one off as well.
Yeah, I turn it like that, makes it a bit easier. I can see both sides then, can't I? Okay. Makes a change, doesn't it, when things come off nice and easy on boats, that's for sure. Normally it's rock solid, isn't it? Nuts and bolts on salt water. Yeah, that's flying off. Absolutely great stuff. Last one to do. Right, find the hammer, give it a gentle sort of knock. There we are. It flies off. And all I need to do now is to give it a clean up on the shaft with a bit of emery cloth, just to tidy it all up, ready for the next seating of the new anode. Always give the shaft a turn, just make your life a bit easier. Yeah, nearly there. A bit fresh bit of cloth. Just do the other end. Give the shaft a turn. And again, sort this cloth out. Nearly there. Quick, easy job really. If they come off nice and easy, that is. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, let's get the new anode. So this one's an Allen key fitting, instead of Phillips. Luck would have it, I've got some Allen keys handy. So, Allen key fitting. So I'll just undo those. Okay, so just a question of clamping it round. The shaft. Oh, Philly's job. There we go. Let's get the Allen key. There we go, got that one side. Get this one started now. Right, let's just, there we go. Just locating those threads can be a bit of a bugger. Okay. So you want to make sure you do these up evenly. You don't want it one more sided than the other on the tightness. Right. Let's just get it about even. And always check the gap there and the gap underneath, just to see that it's coming in and even. Just a little touch on either side. It's looking fairly even at the moment. Right, as much as I can do that way, so I'm just going to give it a bit more leverage with the Allen key. And a little bit on this side as well, so it brings in nice and even. And we're looking good, both there and the underside. Tightening up really nicely now. You've got to make sure it's a real tight fit, because the last thing you want this doing is sliding down and hitting your what we call a P bracket on this boat. That's not good at all. So it always pays to make sure you've got a good snug fit on it. We're getting there now, it's biting in. Right, nice and tight either side. Now what I do with mine is I give them a little bit of a hammer either side of the just to give it another snug fit on there. And it will move, sometimes it will push in a bit further, you know, just a little tap, nothing heavy, just all around, both sides. Turn the shaft if you need to. And give it another nip up. It's gone a little bit. Yep. Right, I'm just going to give it one more hammer. And that will do it. One more nip up to see if there's any more on it. That's it. Don't want to strip the threads out, that's for sure. That's it, so tight that side. Tight that side. So that's nice and fitted now, nice and located. Just thought I'd mention as well, this is a 40mm shaft, so you can make sure you get a 40mm anode as well. Okay, make sure you get the right anode for your shaft dimension. Okay, so that's that one done. Next is I'm going to change this one here. So it's just a matter of getting a spanner on this, which I believe it's probably around about a 19, I reckon, something like that. So we'll give that a go, see how we get on. And again, they normally come off nice and easy, these. So let's give it a go, see if it is. No, it's not. That's yeah, let's try that. There's the 19. There we go. There we go, nice and easy. So just a matter of taking it off with one side and give it a bit of a wire brush just around the edges and around the threads and all the rest of it, just to tidy it up. Yeah. There we are, that's nicely done now. So, new anode going on now. So you get supplied a backing pad if you was going to put it to the hole, but I'm not, so I'm not putting that on. I'm just going to fit it on. You get a locking washer, put that on, and great, it don't fit. That's a good start, isn't it? So we'll put that locking washer on, sorry, and just put. Obviously, you have to use the old nut as well. Actually, there we go. Just line that up like that. Give it a nip up. Just line it up where I want it. Could do with a socket on this, really, to be honest with you. I ain't got one with me. Forgot the socket. That's it. Nipped up. Done. So just the other side to do, because I have two on these. So I'll show you the prop anode next and how we do that one. I'm going to change it, so I'll show you that. So next job is I'm going to change the prop anode. So as I said, it's not worn, but I'm not quite happy with this. I don't know why it's not worn. I did think maybe because I used the boat through lockdown, but do you know what? I'm just going to change it. I'm not completely happy that it's not even showing any signs of wear, really. So I'm just going to change it, give it a light tap, and off she pops. So give it a wire brush around here and clean up all the surfaces so you can give it a good surface to mate to, and make sure it sits nice and snug. Going to get a bit of emery cloth just to clean all the surfaces up, as I said. Well, now with all the surfaces nice and clean, there's got a little locating lug there, just to locate in there. I'm just going to clean some of that rubbish out in there, in that locating. There you are. Get rid of that. There we go. So it locates like that, and that's it. And then you put the Allen key bolt in there. If you can see the blue, that is Loctite. It's already on the bolt, which is handy. So it's just a matter of locating it and screwing it up. It gets a little bit tighter as it gets into the Loctite area, which is what you want anyway. Right, so that's just nipped up. Again, I'll just give it a light tap just to make sure it's all located. Okay, so yeah, there's a little bit of looseness there. So again, that's it, tightened up. Yeah, nice and snug now. Nice and snug. Okay, so that's that fitted. Again, make sure you get the right anode for your shaft dimensions. Okay, so it's important with that because there is different styles of those, and you don't want to make the mistake when you got the boat up on the ramp, do you, that you haven't got the right stuff. So that's it all done. You probably can see that there. That's my rope cutter, so it's all nice and sharp along there, and yeah, designed to cut ropes if you do pick up a rope. As yet, I've been quite lucky, touch wood, that I've not had one on this boat, but I have on previous boats. It is rather frustrating when you pick up a rope, especially if it won't come off. You have to get it lifted and get your rope off. So yep, that's that done. So next job is to jet wash. So I'll get the jet wash going and go from there. Right, so it's now time to jet wash the boat. So got a lance, nice powerful jet wash. So you can watch me do this. Well, the boat's finished. I've put a new blue stripe on it, polished the sides, all the anodes done, everything's absolutely hunky-dory now, so it's just a matter of waiting for the tide to come up. I did have a helper, he's a little bit useless, but we pay him in a couple of cans of Coke and he seems to do a reasonable job, but
I've only had one.
He's only had one, see? That's too many for him, to be honest with you. I had to go over his buffing after time, but there we are. It's always handy to have a mate with you, even though he's useless. Anyway, that's me done. Waiting for the tide to arrive, back on the pontoon. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you see. And maybe not for everyone this sort of thing, but that's what I have to do every year.